Welcome, everybody, to the Plastic Adventures podcast. This is Doug.
Hi.
I am Steve, and you are here again with us.
I don't know what else you have to do with your time, but apparently it's not a lot if you're here with us.
Exactly. So, hey, lots of stuff going on out there, lots of things to talk about, and we've got a really, really neat discussion topic, which will most likely have some controversy coming with it. So
I think it will.
I wore my Hasbro Hulk Hogan
Ready to rumble.
patent drawing. So if we got to get into an arm wrestling match or physical over
I'm
this
gonna
thing,
lose.
we're
I'm
gonna.
gonna lose. I'm a little more chill, laid back today, so.
I don't know.
Steve's ready to fight.
Dynamite comes in unassuming packages. Anyways, let's dive into the news, dude.
Yeah,
what
let's go
you
with the
got
news.
there?
So, some of the biggest things I saw floating around the webs today. Transformers has a new cartoon, and from what I've seen from the release, it is mixed feelings. And I think I say mixed nicely.
Just it's a CGI thing. The proportions are really wacky. It's like a sort of a Transformers animated kind of a vibe to it, and it's for kids. And any Transformers is good Transformers, but
I agree.
this is not one that is going to be
I won't be
resonating with the old guys. You know, the 2 and 10 viewers that really matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I can see you maybe picking up an Optimus Prime if it looks good enough in the toy form and adding it to your Prime
Not
collection.
happening on this one.
Really? You're just not
I'm
seeing
just
it?
not feeling it, man.
Well, I for one am not a fan of the weird, slimmed down kind of looking Transformers. I want my Transformers big and blocky and looking like the things that they kind of are supposed to transform into.
Yeah.
I've always said that, and I still feel that way. So, but you know, not everything has to be targeted towards me. And if this thing is targeted towards younger children, I think it's going to do its job. If kids are even watching cartoons these days, I don't know if they are or not. But it's out there. They're putting it out there. We didn't ask for it, but hell, they're giving it to us anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an interesting diversion from the, what the hell was that called? The one that, like, featured Bumblebee recently, that animated series. It was a cel-shaded CDI, Cyberverse or something,
yeah.
The animation and the look was actually pretty good. It just wasn't really a story that I could get behind. You know, my stepson watched a bit of it. And, you know, if it piques interest, then it's good for Transformers.
I agree. I mean, that's what I still believe that if there's something being put out by, you know, the big companies, Hasbro, Mattel, and even though it's not aimed directly at us, the brand is still out there. People are still aware of it. It's still living. So that means that, like we've always said, for all of the bad stuff that comes with Transformers, every once in a while they'll put something out for us guys, which means that something is still coming.
Yeah.
We have Legacy, which is, they're not getting rid of Legacy, right?
Nope.
So that's still coming. That's geared towards us.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that is our generation. So thank you, Hasbro. Keep
Yeah.
pumping it out.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, you look at the new Masters of the Universe cartoon, right? The one that was on Netflix.
Well, which one? They
And
were
that's
both on
another
Netflix.
one, not Revelations. I'm talking the one
the CGI
where
one?
it's like, you know, Batman the animated series meets steroids meets CGI meets He-Man.
The heavy-shouldered He-Man.
That got a season 2. So kids are watching it. And, you know, I looked at the animation models and was like, that ain't happening for me. I look at the toys in the store, ain't happening for me, but somebody's into it.
Well, I've heard a little bit of chatter about that series specifically, and even though I'm not a huge fan of the design and the style of what they're doing, I hear the story's actually kind of cool. So I haven't given it a shot yet, but I've heard enough positive things about it, more than what I heard about Revelation, and I still watch that thing. So I might give this a chance when I've already gone through all my other stuff on Netflix and my Hulu.
Too much other stuff to get through. Maybe.
But yeah, I haven't heard a lot of negative stuff about it. In fact, the things I've heard about it are like, you know, people from our age group and saying, hey, it's better than Revelations.
So some of the designs are a little bit out there, but you know, like we said, we're like the 2 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
This is being marketed towards. So, hey, any Transformers is good Transformers.
Any Masters is good Masters. So
we'll take it.
We'll take it. Yeah, we'll take it. That's not so true about Star Wars.
Whatever.
So
Are we gonna go? Are we going there?
we're going there.
Okay.
We're going there. So one of the things that they talked about releasing today is a character from the Book of Boba Fett. So if anybody's been watching that, they're aware that there have been some characters show up in the show that were from other parts of the Star Wars expanded universe. And one of them was the bounty hunter Black Chrysanthemum. And he played a rather large role in the Book of Boba Fett. He was a good character. I felt that he played off of Boba Fett very well. And then people were kind of excited to get an action figure for this guy. And, you know, Hasbro says, here comes your Chrysanthemum action figure. And your people are looking at it like, what? You gave me a retooled, repainted Chewbacca?
Ta-da!
He doesn't look anything like Chrysanthemum. Nothing. They put, basically they gave Chewbacca's head some beard dreads, and some...
They put some like oversized, weird-looking plastic armor on him.
Yeah,
too.
they didn't even paint it. It looks like it's just yellow armor or whatever.
That's part of the vintage collection, which are like 4-inch, $15 action figures.
I looked at it and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that this was crap. Because that was crap. That's Hasbro out there going, hey, you know what? There's money in this. We don't have enough time to actually make an action figure from the ground up. What do we got?
Well,
You got this old Chewie here.
They've been so good about new tooling on so many of these figures, right? Like, you got to figure at some point they're going to get a little bit of the money back and reuse some current assets that they have.
I just looked at it and went, Hasbro, you know better. You should know better.
What the hell is this, Masters of the Universe? Come on.
Come on. You expect, and then, you know, people are like, I think he looks great. Like 2% of the people. I'm like, well, you know, have at it. He's not going to be jumping off the shelves.
He'll keep those pegs very warm for you.
He will. So, yeah, that was the big ones I had this week. So, what's on your list?
So news. They have now released an image of the Seth Rogen Ninja Turtles. So he's the brains behind the operation, which I actually think Seth Rogen's a good writer. When he does these R-rated raunchy movies, he knows his zone, right? Like, he stays in that lane.
Sure, for R-rated comedies.
It's all pot and dick jokes, which is fine because I'm a child and I love it. But
when he gets in the wrong lane...
No, I guarantee you that, and mark my words, all 10 of you, or whoever's watching this, the movie itself is going to have good bones and good writing, but God almighty, the character designs, it's Teenage Mutant Yoga Turtles. They are emaciated and skinny looking, and they've got some like very strange, exaggerated facial features. And
I'm not on board. I'm not on board. This one's a stinker to me. Like from A to Z.
Dude, I bet you the writing's great and the story is very good, but you just see something that immediately takes you away from it. And it's such a divergence, and I don't know if this is done in some sort of an attempt to draw in people who aren't like roided up monsters, you know, but this is fantasy, right? So I'm used to seeing my Ninja Turtles who are on a high protein diet. You know, they work out. That's like a 10-year-old song. Nobody knows that. I work out.
No, I'm sorry. I cannot, you know, looking at this Turtles, what it's going to be like, I'm almost willing to give the last generation of Turtles a pass, the rise of the Turtles, because at least I think it would have some elements of Turtles in it. This one, I'm looking at it going, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it.
It'll be a great story, but it's a hard sell based on how the characters are initially looking. Now, there were some weird reactions to the Puppet Turtles at first. You know, this poster comes out and they don't have any. Yeah, the detailing, they didn't have like the little spots and everything on them. They just looked like Play-Doh Ninja Turtle heads. But so it may surprise us. It may surprise us, but it was something that really kind of caught me off guard. So that was, you know, that's going to be controversial. What will not be controversial is some production images from the new Batgirl movie, which is going to be releasing on HBO Max, and they showed Michael Keaton's stunt double. So he's going to be reprising the role of Batman, and I'm sure that he's going to talk. he'll wear the mask and talk, but it's going to be some guy that's not going to,
When it comes to the action sequences,
it won't be him in the
it's
bat
not
suit
Michael
getting
Keaton.
broken. But the bat suit looks great. So
It
there's
does.
a bunch of these like little callbacks. It's jet black, just like the bat suit from the original 2 movies.
With the original, with the Keaton symbol.
It's got the Keaton symbol, and it's hard to make out in the pictures. It looks like it's kind of a hybrid of Batman Returns. It looked like he had those kind of armored ab things,
Yeah.
but a little bit more flexible maybe in the legs or something. So it looked great. And the belt is black. It's not gold anymore.
I didn't see a yellow belt. No,
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. So I think that this is good news, for one, because Michael Keaton Batman is my favorite version of Batman. Next to the Batman the Animated Series. And when we see things like this, that means we might see merchandise on the shelves with a Keaton Batman again, front and center.
Well, what this might end up doing is prompting McFarlane to do an 89 Keaton Batman. Because all we've got right now is the NECA version, which was not officially released. It was a pack-in with the Blu-ray 89 Batman movie as a freebie. You paid like $40 for this set.
Yeah.
And 30 of it went to the action figure, but
well, and think of what the DC Multiverse figures are right now.
Yeah.
I bet you we'll see a Keaton Batman in that soon.
Going to be exciting. And I mean, and as we're speaking of this now, we've got all this great new Batman figures that are coming out from McFarlane. The figures from the new The Batman that's coming out next month. We've seen those hit, and if you're watching out there, Cynthia, I promise you, I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that Pattinson Batman. I saw it and was on the fence. I know you want it, so you'll be the first to know if I find it out there.
Right on.
But yeah, it's looking really great. Other kind of good news beyond the Batman, the new Transformers live action is continuing, and it was announced that it was a trilogy of movies. So I don't remember the official title. It's like Beast Rising or something. Beast Wars. It's got some Beast Wars characters, but maybe we can just hurry up and get those crappy-ass Beast Wars characters out of here and then have 2 more good movies.
Well, maybe what
alongside
they'll
it.
do is they'll give us Beast War Transformers now without claw hands or, tail weapons or something. Maybe they'll give us some actual decent Beast War. I mean, I was never really into the Beast Wars.
No, I don't mind that as like those parts converting into weapons, but when literally you got a Tyrannosaurus Rex head for a hand.
For a hand, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just kind of, I don't know. And those toys, they were very, very difficult to get transformed. This is when Transformers took this huge divergence, and they went from G2 and some of the new ones that they did there, and they started doing all the ball joints and the stuff that just barely fit into place with pegs and everything.
Yeah.
So I'd argue that one of the coolest things about Transformers is transforming them, but Beast Wars made that tough on a lot of the figures.
Yeah, I was never really. I mean, I like the Dinobots because they look like robot dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the Beast Wars because they looked like organic animals with robotic parts. And I'm like, I just wasn't feeling that. It was towards the end of me being interested in Transformers as a kid before I jumped back into all of this stuff as an adult. So I think I missed the Beast Wars train, and I just can't get back on it. I just couldn't feel it.
The one thing that Beast Wars did do is it paid a lot of homages to original G1 and tied these continuities together. So you'd be watching and you're like, man, what a crap story I'm watching. But then, lo and behold, here's Starscream's ghost that shows up, Unicron's head. A cliffhanger episode where we're in the Ark with the original Transformers, and you've got Optimus Prime Spark mutating Optimus Primal Spark in the second season, and that's what made Optimal Optimus. So there was just enough of that kind of cool G1 stuff to keep you going, but
the toys themselves,
hopefully these new movies, it won't be beaks for hands, and it's the Bumblebee people making the movie. It's not Michael Bay. This is how robots do. Done movie.
Explosion.
I apologize for that offensive voice, but you can't watch those movies and not help to feel like he was just some 18-month-old banging his toys together in a sandbox. It was sad.
It was not good. It was not good. But, I still kind of am hoping that, beyond hope, I think, but I'm still trying to hope that this Beast Wars will give us something that resembles some good figures. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see an Optimus Primal that can be something other than an ape and transform into a robot that still kind of looks like an ape, you know?
It'd be really, you know, it would be funny. You get that moment where it's like, Autobots, transform and roll out. All the Autobots turn into cars, drive away, and the animals are like panting, trying to keep up with the cars.
Slow down, guys.
I only turn into a monkey.
Jumping on the back.
I turn into a rat.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. But, you know.
I'm a rhinoceros.
But I have hope, because the Bumblebee movie was actually pretty okay. It wasn't horrible.
A few little shades of Bay left in there,
but it wasn't
overall
horrible.
It was a pretty good movie.
And I really enjoyed the very first part of that when they showed the war on Cybertron. I mean, that felt like Transformers.
Yeah.
So
what still disturbed me is there's such an animalistic way in some of the way that the characters are killed off.
Mm.
These characters are people, but they're just treated like playthings. You know, like tearing characters limb from limb or ripping faces off and stuff. So there's a tiny bit of that in Bumblebee, but overall it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
It's worth it.
It's a sweet callback to G1 and a big apology for the last like 5 movies that they made. 6 movies previous to it.
Yeah. It's worth it. I think you'll enjoy it.
So, and undoubtedly these next ones will be good. It's just, my concern is that these movies now, they all have to be these mega, like, $600, $700, $800 million blockbusters, and will the economy be at that point where people are out supporting these movies in the droves to create those numbers? Because right now they're calling like 20 million a successful opening weekend for something, and you know, these big blockbusters, these tentpole CGI things, dude, that's got to have like $100 million open weekend or 200 million, and then go on to, you know, gross $750 million worldwide to even get them to want to come back and do a second. So
yeah, I know.
They're hella expensive to make, and the promotion is super expensive.
Yeah, I mean the whole movie industry as a whole is going to have to do something new going forward, I think. Not only in just creating movies, but in getting butts in seats, you know, so to speak.
And, you know, maybe we're kind of tail into this pandemic thing, and it's kind of switching the gears on how we're dealing with it. Maybe a lot more people will be comfortable getting out and going to the movies, knowing that having them feel that they are safe in doing so. Mm-hmm. So that hopefully will create a higher demand back at the movies. I miss movies. I've been to a few of them. I'm definitely seeing the new Batman when it comes out.
Yeah.
But we'll do like matinee or something. So
yeah. But the one good thing that does come from all of this is toys.
Toys. Yes,
it's toys, man.
Yep.
So that's why we're
toys.
Here. We're here to talk about that sweet, beautiful, wonderful plastic crack.
Oh God! I can smell the petroleum mold release on the toys. Yes.
So that's really what we're here for, and that's what I'm most excited for. These things kind of igniting that new wave of toys in the stores.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see what we get.
Should be gangbusters. Last but not least, prices on the rise. Hasbro says it's going to soften sales. Mattel says they'll hold. My prediction is that they'll hold. Even if it's 10 to 20% higher, we're still going to buy what we buy. Once another big shipping company gets involved, and shipping becomes easier and faster and less expensive, then the prices will soften, but never back to pre-pandemic levels. But I think they're going to hold or increase, because we're looking for escapism still.
I think a lot of the things that were pre-pandemic are a thing of the past, unfortunately. Because, you know, once things rise and are proven that people will pay that, they never, hardly ever go back to what they were. That's just the way...
That's economics.
That's just the way the economy is, right? That's just the way it works. So, that's really all there is to say about that. So, yeah.
So I guess that's what I got for news. Show and tell, not tons this time.
So we did pick up a nice little vintage Star Wars lot in the last couple of days, and we were able to go through that and kind of pick and choose what we wanted out of that. I got a nice vintage vintage Darth Vader TIE Fighter.
Great.
Which looked, I mean, it was overall in pretty good condition. I mean, the only thing that was really, really wrong with it was the cockpit glass was yellowed. Mm-hmm. But not a whole lot, but it was still yellowed enough that you would notice it. But other than that, I mean, the other plastic didn't have any discoloration in it. Everything was there. The only other thing wrong was that the stickers so old that the stickers had just fallen off.
The adhesive just finally dried up.
Yeah, so I'm looking in ways to try to find a good way to put those stickers back on, but they're all there. So that was my big happy gain in my toy collection.
Yeah, and in part of that lot, I got a extremely displayable vintage Millennium Falcon. I'm super excited to have it. Up to this point, I had like the 95 Power of the Force release, which was
It was okay.
same Falcon, but
Yeah.
it had like some different internal electronic mechanisms in it, and the color was different. So I was really happy to get like that off, like cream gray color of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited to have it.
And I have to say, it does look beautiful up there with all of the vintage.
Great. It looks just exactly like it's supposed to up there.
It looks beautiful. So.
And ATST Walker. I'd always kind of wanted one of them, and that was part of this lot. And it was an incredible lot. I mean, we had a complete B-wing with the box and a nice little set of junkers, but we've got those spoken for. But it was just a really great pickup. Nice to get. Didn't think that it was going to come our way, and I mean, here it is.
And
so
here it was, yeah. So it was really good. Yeah, it came from a friend of ours, and I'm glad he thought of us to throw it our way. So, Tyson, hey, if you ever tune in, thanks a lot for that lot. It was really nice of you to do that. I think that was it for our games this week, wasn't it?
Well, I got a couple more to show.
Surprise!
So, first of all, this is for you, Taylor. I've already messaged you. We're going to horse trade a little bit, but I managed to score this.
Nice. You went back for it.
5 months ago, me wouldn't have thought that I got to have this, so I paid way more than retail to get one. And this was discovered at the Pasco Walmart over in the RC Toys, and it was still over there a few days later.
Nice.
So this is probably the best Casey Jones figure that's ever been created. It's a
beautiful
Ultimates. Features, you can kind of see it in there. We've got alternate heads and all kinds of gear. It's just a super cool toy. So
Yeah.
I look forward to adding that to your collection. It's just one of the little ways that we try to help the local community here.
Yep.
I-
Finding new friends, new toy collectors. It's always fun.
What's his name?
Oh, that's the dude from They Live.
Nada. John Nada. The WWE did a series of these movie figures, right? So they did one for The Rock, one for John Cena, and one
I've
for
never seen
Roddy
this
Roddy
guy.
Piper. I think that's a very cool figure. They went on clearance at Walmart.
No
So
way.
I wasn't going to pay full price, but it went on clearance. Happy to have it. I need to get like an M16 that's in scale with him.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
that
that
would
would get
finish-
a little talking bubble that says, "I'm here for
To
chew gum
kick ass
kick
and
ass."
chew bubble gum and all out of bubble gum.
Yeah.
And a great fight scene where it's just like 200 punches to the face is exchanged. It was like awful. But I'll tell you, the one that's really got me tickled, Veterans Thrift.
Oh yeah.
Over in
that's
Kennewick,
right.
next to Lowe's. This is a storage shell, Raphael. It was pretty much my favorite subline of the original Ninja Turtles, and what I love about them is the back opened up, and it had room for the accessories. There's even a little shuriken
Yeah.
back there right now. But I pulled him right out of a bin, just like this. The figure's in terrific shape. He's not showing any paint wear. The accessory, the punch dagger holder in the back is kind of lifted a little bit, but 50 cents.
Dude, you know what's really cool about this is, I think in the podcast, I don't think it was the one directly before it, but it was the one before that. We were just talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and how this one was your favorite.
It's my favorite subline.
Yeah.
And now this means that I probably have to get the other three.
Yeah.
God, toy collecting, man.
But it's really cool that you found him, because I just think it's cool that you were just talking about it and then lo
Dang
and
it.
behold you stumble on him.
I have to buy more toys.
I know. You have to.
So awful.
It's a necessity. You have to. All right. Those were cool.
Yeah, great little
Yeah,
finds.
great little haul.
It's not stuff I would normally have gone and searched out, but neat little things that just kind of happened.
When
to
they
me.
jump in your way, you're gonna be like, all right, I'll take it.
I'm so not a guy that's like, leave no toy behind. I see things all the time, and I leave it because I don't want it. As a matter of fact, that Veterans Thrift had a piece of an Action Master Transformers. It had this big, like, I want to say it was Megatron's thing that he rode, but it was missing some of the other parts. So I just didn't want to buy the shell. I left it there. They
Shoot
had a
me
little
text next time. I might have wanted to grab that one. I don't think he would have been too expensive. was
This would have been, well, no, probably would have cost you like $1.
That's
but
what I'm saying,
Then
like
you're going to
$1.
spend like $100 buying the pieces or more to complete it.
That's true.
I should have. What a bad friend I am.
No,
I
no,
should
you're not
have.
a bad friend at all. You're not a bad friend at all. No, I'm just thinking.
For
no,
like-
you probably
for like
saved me.
50 cents.
you
you know.
probably saved me.
Because you would have had the same thing. You're like, wow,
Now I got to complete this.
I need the other 3. I need the Megatron. I need the guns that go with it, and those are $20 a piece. And Megatron's probably 60. And
you did me a favor.
Exactly what happens when you find Mask.
Oh,
I found a loose volcano one time,
Yeah.
and don't
Never
do
again.
that.
Never again.
Nope, it is missing the most expensive parts. It was not worth buying from the guy. So,
I mean, I also sometimes I do like toy projects. I think they're fun, as long as they're toy projects that are budget friendly. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Some of those are not budget friendly.
not so much
I can
the
understand
aforementioned toys.
that. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But every once in a while, it's fun to find a toy that you're kind of like want to hunt for pieces and stuff like that. I do kind of like that aspect every once in a while.
It comes with the hobby.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I wasn't buying expensive Mask pieces to collect to complete my Mask vehicles, then well, shit, I'd just be buying something else expensive. So there we
Well,
go.
and also you and I are coming back from the days when you could buy lots on eBay, for less than $100.
Mm-hmm.
Shift through it, find what you want, and then combine it with some other stuff that you didn't want.
resell
Throw it back on
for
eBay.
$100. Yeah,
So those days are gone. I
most
mean,
definitely. Yeah.
And that's really sad because that was when we got into it. We were having fun. We were putting things together, and and now you just, I don't know, you just can't do that anymore.
My whole
Everything is like super expensive, no matter what. I mean, the things that we would consider like kind of the crappy lots are still
oh yeah
they're
just
expensive
basic
nowadays.
like bucks, just
Yeah.
the figures themselves with no
Mhm.
accessories, and they're up there. Those Masters of the Universe behind me, I put that collection together at an extremely low cost because I would buy lots, cherry pick, and then resell.
Yep.
So those days are gone. Lucky me, I got what I needed out of there.
Lucky us, because that's kind of how we did my GI Joe collection.
Uh-huh.
Put those together with trading with people who bought big lots, and I would get a big lot, and I'd trade those things out, and we'd trade back and forth with each other, and then we'd sell what we didn't want anymore. And those days were fun, and now
You can get a stack of accessory pack weapons for $3 a piece.
I found a bag of a ton of them.
Oh, yeah,
at the Northwest.
that's right.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
oh
you
yeah,
got
I'll
those.
take those. He's like, well, those are only accessory pack weapons. So
No, look at them on eBay. you
$2
jabroni.
a
They're-
bag. There was like 70 accessories in that thing. I was
Yeah.
like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So all right. Anyway.
Yeah, so discussion segment time.
Yeah.
So I guess we're kind of continuing in this like masochistic vein where we are made to choose yes and no.
Yeah.
Doug had a great idea, and this little game's going to be top 5, bottom 5, and we're going to go through our top 5 favorites and bottom 5 worst figures.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do the big 4.
Yeah,
if we
the
can
big
get through
four,
it today.
our big four, I should say, and then we'll touch a little bit on why we think some of them are the best and why we think some are the worst. We try not to waste everybody's time on this, but
Yeah.
I think what I'm looking forward to mainly is I think that our top 5 we're going to be like, oh yeah, I can agree with you on that. I think it's the worst 5 that I'm really going to be excited to see which ones we think are the worst 5. So let's kick it off, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Where do you want to start, man?
I started with Joe, so
Let's do
just-
Joe.
Let's
Yeah,
just start
we're
with
ready.
Joe.
Okay.
You want me to kick it off?
Go for it.
All right.
Let's hear the top 5.
Okay, top 5. My number 1 for best GI Joe figures, and I let me stress that this was, I looked only towards the vintage figures. I wasn't looking at like newer waves
Mhm.
or things like that. I was looking at the vintage toys, vintage figures, vintage characters. So I'll kind of throw that
Okay.
out there. All right, first one, Short Fuse. Short Fuse.
He's
was
your
my-
number 1?
He's my number 1 because he was my number 1. He was my first GI
Okay.
Joe figure. Also, I mean, come on, what's not to like about Short Fuse? He's green shirt.
I
He
know,
looks like he
he's
gets into the
Plain
mess.
green.
He's got his helmet with the visor, and I mean, he's everything a kid would want.
Well, and at the time of the original, original 13 of them? Pretty groundbreaking figures
Yeah,
in design. So
I think so.
I got a lot of love, especially for the original straight arm figures. Short Fuse did not
Make your
make
top.
my list,
No.
but let's hear your
All right,
number 2.
my number 2, vintage Storm Shadow.
Yeah, that's a great figure.
I love ninjas. And Storm Shadow was not a disappointment. He came with, back in the day, a slew of accessories.
Yep.
His backpack opened up. He had 2 katana swords. He had nunchucks and a bow, and he just looked really cool as
Yeah,
a figure.
like the backpack opened up like a kid or something.
Well, it opened up so you could see the arrows
Yeah.
inside of him. There was
Yeah.
a ridge so you could see the arrows. That's cool. I mean, in anybody's book, a 3 3/4 ninja.
White ninja. He's a white ninja,
white-
but he's a bad guy.
Yeah,
So
I know.
that was that was an
So-
interesting kind of paradox.
And I can remember every time, going into the store and just picking that figure up and just loving him to death. And I remember the first one I got, I remember begging my mom. I think we were in a freaking JCPenney when JCPenney had toys back
Oh
then.
yeah, the good old days.
And I remember begging my mom for Storm Shadow, for $1.97 Storm Shadow. I had to beg.
Yeah.
I had to beg. Oh,
Holy
God.
crap! $1.97. Yeah.
Oh, man. But he's solidly in my top 5 for G.I. Joe.
Okay. So who do you got next?
Bats.
Yeah, great figure.
For the same reason, slew of accessories. He could swap out his hand, and all of those accessories could fit on that. He had a really kicking cool ventricular sticker on his
Yep.
chest.
Yeah, a backpack that held the hands.
That held
yeah.
the hands and stuff. And his color scheme was cool. Black, yellow, and silver.
Yeah, it looked
Nice.
like danger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That black and yellow, it's like caution or danger, and it's this like
Yeah.
wicked, evil android robot, and they could just be eviscerated on the cartoon
Oh,
because
just
they
you
were
could rip
mindless
through him.
drones.
Just rip through him.
If you're Sergeant Slaughter, like one bat beats 3 Joe's ass, and Sergeant Slaughter's standing on a pile of 50 of them.
Hurry up, Joes! Oh, but he's just a really cool figure. I
Okay.
love the way he looks. So yeah, he's in my top 5. Next one, Viper.
Viper,
The
okay.
Cobra Viper, and
Super cool design. Yeah, great
super
colors.
cool design. I like that he kind of replaced the old Cobra Trooper as the standard Cobra, soldier. And
He looked a lot more serious.
he did. He felt like he had the tactical vest. He had some grenades.
Mhm.
He had armor on his, on every part of him except for his elbows. But and then his gun and his backpack were like extremely practical, like really cool looking soldier in the field type of stuff.
Yeah, cool visor.
Cool visor and everything. So I like for as far as Cobra Troopers go, the Viper is it for me.
Yeah, it's a great
And-
figure.
and a great
Great
design. Great design too. I mean, it stands the test of time.
Well,
My last 5. Number 5.
number 5, yes.
Number 5. Dusty.
Dusty, huh?
Dusty, yep. As a kid, Dusty, I loved the figure. I loved the fact that he was in brown camo, not green camo. He had a nice short submachine gun.
And it had a bipod.
It had a bipod.
Cool little
on it.
bipod
Yep,
accessory,
yep.
yeah.
And he had the cloth.
That
head.
that was different, having
It was.
that piece of cloth just on the helmet
Yep.
that kind of came down and shielded his neck.
Yeah, and he was kind of one of the first new-looking modern type soldiers in
Mhm.
G.I. Joe, right? Because at that time, the real military was switching over to the brown type of camouflage look. We were getting into the war in the Gulf, and all of these things was starting to. I mean, we weren't quite there, but we were.
He looked like modern desert soldier.
Exactly,
It was really good.
Desert Soldier. It's-
Some of the best designs were so simple, like
They were.
Ripcord.
Yeah,
Dude, Ripcord looks awesome, and there's nothing.
nothing
like-
special about it.
Yeah,
I mean, he
not
just
like
looks
8
cool.
guns poking out or
Well, I mean, he did have that really cool like web,
Had the web gear
rubber
with
web
the
gear with the parachute and the
mask.
mask.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I mean, a GI Joe has got to have cool looking design, good accessories, right,
Mhm.
and look like he's playable, playworthy. And I think my top 5 fit right squarely into that.
Okay. Well, I think that's a really solid top 5. And before I go into my top 5, I love Duke, my favorite GI Joe
Yep.
character. He did not make my top 5. Duke didn't make the top
I thought
5.
for sure you'd be your first guy.
I love him, but there are some characters and some designed figures that I just think are like top of what the line had to offer.
All right.
So, number 1 on my list, even though I'm not a huge fan of the character, Snake Eyes version 2. With Timber, with the sword that went in the backpack, the Uzi,
Visor.
that cool looking visor. I mean, he was like this weird cyber ninja commando looking
Yeah.
guy. And I mean, there's almost no design that is more synonymous with G.I. Joe than Snake Eyes version 2.
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, you get Duke and Roadblock and Scarlet constantly, and you always get Snake Eyes in that mix. And it is almost always version 2 with the visor.
Some take on version 2.
And
right?
it's just a great design figure. The colors are for being black and like that gray.
Mm-hmm.
The original character was just straight out black plastic released from the mold.
Yeah, no paint.
But this one had the highlights in just the right places, and
Well, he had a freaking wolf.
I am a wolf. And I'm taking my hat off. I mean, I'm a sucker for Joes that had the little accessory slot on the backpacks for swords and knives. It's very cool. So I love the design is great. I'm giving it to Snake Eyes. He deserves it. Not my favorite, but because Larry Hama just overexposed the character.
I went back and forth on whether Snake Eyes was going to be in my top 5, and he was there for a little bit. But
so number 2, Beachhead.
Oh, great guy.
Sweet pullover thing, the baklava thing that he wears, the green camo,
Yep.
the ammo pack, the cool looking submachine gun. I mean, that guy looked like
That
he
backpack
meant business.
Looked like it had
the backpack.
everything on it.
Yeah, grappling hook and spools of line and all kinds of stuff on there. I mean, just a terrific design. And I was kind of going back and forth because I love Beachhead, and Firefly is much the same way with the spool backpack and the submachine gun. Firefly's really drab, like he's got these gray colors, and Beachhead was just that camouflage and green, and that really popped for me. And when you look at designs of like badass G.I. Joes, I mean, Beachhead has to be in that list.
Yeah. Beachhead was on my list, and as a kid, Beachhead always fought Firefly. Like every character had like an arch nemesis, and Firefly was right there with.
I love the idea of Firefly being this like unknown saboteur.
Oh yeah.
Like a Golgo 13 style type of character that, you know, he's this mysterious guy, nobody knows who he is, and when Cobra wants people dead, then they would call him in. Or
and he makes no, what is it? He makes no guarantees.
Yeah.
And everything's up front.
Yeah. $20, 50s only, no change.
Yeah. Oh man, but I think they ruined that character when they put him as part of the Arishikage later on down the line.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's
I
Larry
like him
Hama
much better
idea.
as
He
just
just
an
should have
unknown
been like this.
saboteur.
Yeah, just this unknown guy. And in the cartoons, if he ever needed a hole cut in the fence, then they would call Firefly for that. And then like that was it, like one cartoon. So after Beachhead for me, Lowlight.
Oh, another great one.
Man, that cool gray. I mean, he just looked like a nighttime sort of spotter. He had that red visor that went over. It had the like pop of blonde hair. That kind of just it stuck out. But I mean, it was an interesting characteristic. You know, you'd think that they would have made his hair black so he could be like this black-haired, black-suited guy. But he had a great accessory, that sniper rifle with the bipod, the Uzi. I love that gray, black, and red. It's just such a cool color scheme, and I think he's one of the very coolest looking Joes that's out there.
And his voice in the cartoon was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's kind of quiet.
Like, especially in the movie, when he's like bringing Falcon in for the thing. You're up.
Yeah.
They want to talk to you. Like, that's all he would do. Like,
party time.
You didn't mess with Lowlight, right?
No, like, you wouldn't even knock on his door.
No.
Him and Sci-Fi. And then if you smelled something funny, it was probably coming out of Footloose's room.
True.
With Shipwreck in there sharing. He didn't bring any, but he's going to share with Footloose.
He's going to share it with you.
So yeah, I love Lowlight. One of my absolute very, very, very favorites.
Great figure.
Here, this one might be off the wall for you, but Falcon.
No, I can see why.
Cool looking green beret outfit, the dagger or the survival knife in the backpack,
the antenna.
Yeah, the backpack had like communications equipment or something in there, so it had the antenna, and he had a pump action 12-gauge shotgun
with a handle on it that you could.
Oh man, like it was like set up like a riot shotgun. It actually had that handle post that came down. Just a super cool looking figure. I mean, he ended up being kind of a douche in the movie, but
I wouldn't have picked Don Johnson for the voice, but whatever.
Oh, I thought he did a great job. He totally sounded like some screw up little.
Well, okay, if you're gonna put it that way, but I don't know. But the figure, I mean, I loved playing with the figure as a kid. You know, put a guy in all camo and give him a cool gun.
It's just a really great character design. And, you know, I know in the Deke series they kind of shit the bed with that character and had him in the weird looking gray and black camo.
Yeah.
Terrible voice actor took over. But anyways.
We talk about G.I. Joe, we don't talk about the Deke.
Yeah, it's a really good design. So definitely Falcon.
Yep.
And my fifth one rounding this out, Zartan.
Oh yeah, Zartan.
Yep, the figure, he came with a disguise. He came with a cool backpack that opened. You could put his mask in there. Cool looking gun.
The
He had the
armor came
translucent
off.
armor. Changed colors.
Yeah.
And he came with a vehicle that could be broken down
I
and
know.
make it look like junk, like he's just some kind of like junk dealer. But then you put it together and it's like a swamp skier. So,
It's cool.
dude, just one of the absolute coolest figures. And, you know, I love me some Destro for the vac metal and the colors, but, dude, that Zartan figure is just, that's off the chain. It's one of the best ones that they made.
It is, and it's one of those figures that you can point to as proof that 80s just did not care. Like they went like, what can we put? What can we do? Let's make a guy that changes color and give him all these accessories and give him mask and
And in the cartoon, he had this echo to his voice.
he did. He sounded really cool
Yeah.
looking,
Yeah.
and so I mean, it was one of those things that was like you could only do that in the 80s and get away with it because it was so freaking cool.
But hey, it made sense.
Oh,
mean,
man.
and of course,
I ate it up as a kid.
this awesome, like, dangerous master of disguise guy is flanked by a bunch of monkey bikers that drink grape soda, who all have British accents,
Australian accents or
Yeah.
whatever they were. Yeah. Oh, crikey,
Right.
Zartan! I want to go right me there.
it's a bloomin' sea monster!
Oh gosh, for all their faults, I love the Dreadnought.
Yeah, I know. You gotta have some cowardly bad guys that can run. So let's get into worst.
Yeah, we'll get into worse. Want to shoot that one?
Yeah.
All right.
What are your bottom 5 figures?
My bottom 5 figures. Here we go. Raptor.
Might have made my list.
The-
Sucks so hard.
The head manager of our HR department for Cobra, as we put it. Raptor.
That's Crockmaster, the HR department.
No, I thought that was Raptor.
No,
It's a Crockmaster. is
Yeah,
the-
because he's
Raptor's
trying to find
like-
something for Raptor to do. Because the guy's like,
That's right.
if you need a guy that's got bird wings to do something, call me. And he's just sitting there in the headquarters the whole time. He's like, I don't think I'll be calling him out for anything.
It's like Cobra's dodgeball day, and you're going through the people to pick, and like Raptor's like there.
Dead last. And it's because I saw him outside. He was shitting on all the cars. Do you really have to poop on people's windshields, Raptor? I know it's very disturbing. I'm a bird guy.
It's his secret weapon.
That's what I
against
do.
JoJo. Oh my
Nobody-
God, Raptor sucks.
Yeah,
Raptor
like-
sucks.
I don't
And,
know,
and not even his
Raptor-
accessories could save him.
No, he sucked. He
The
looked
cloth, wings, and I don't know what was going on with his getup. I'm like, if there were things that were offensive to other cultures, I would have looked at that and put Raptor at the top of the list for what offends. How can we offend somebody
like
today?
PETA. They love
Raptor.
him. Yeah.
Jeez.
Horrible figure, like the crappiest. I mean, even more crappy than Crystal Ball.
He did not make my worst 5.
No, me
But
neither.
I did consider him.
Well, Crystal Ball, he was kind of like a Himalayan mystic, so I
Yeah,
could kind of.
I actually did kind of
okay
like.
with that.
I dug his look. Kind
But
of
he just came with like some stupid shield and a lenticular sticker
No, that
that was
was
like
lame.
supposed to
His-
hypnotize you.
His accessory was lame as all.
But
hell.
continue
all
on.
right.
Raptor, good pick for you.
Raptor.
And me.
All right, number 2, Psych Out.
Oh my God, we're starting to align here.
Are we really? Oh my
Dumbest
gosh!
figure.
I can't stand Psych Out. Okay,
Oh,
so as a
oh,
kid, I was like,
Fudge.
oh.
P.U. What a bad figure.
I mean, none of his accessories made sense.
Yeah,
He
like
looked-
these little like
he-
radar dishes that went on his hands or something.
I picture him like trying to go into battle and like all his shit's clanking. Like, you know what I mean? Like clank, 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 clank. I gotta say, shh, hold on, firefight.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta get this.
Do you
shit
even-
up.
Y'all even have a gun, bro? Sorry, Beachhead. Got these
I got these things.
cool
I don't-
effing things on my hands. I don't know what they do, but
It's like wires poking out everywhere and clanking and just. I'm like, no, God, no.
I'm gonna see if I can get Leatherneck to buy my lunch. What did he do?
He did nothing.
Was he like the Joe Shrink? And he's like, man, I really want to see some action. Well, sweetheart, you got to be able to fire a gun to get some action, you know. I don't want that guy out here with me.
He was horrible. It was just a horrible looking figure. And what's really sad is he came in a great year of figures.
And like the colors are okay on the figure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like
the colors are
green
okay,
and the
but I
silver
just-
and everything. But what a turd of a figure!
Oh
Whoa.
god! And then the lady's
What was he calling Mork?
I don't know,
Oh, no.
man. Oh god, he's a horrible figure. All right, he was squarely in my worst 5.
Yeah.
Lightfoot.
Oh, I didn't consider that, but he's equally as
He's
a
in
turd
that
of a figure.
same vein.
But at least didn't Lightfoot, wasn't he like an explosive expert? Like he had that little drone that he could send in there.
All right, to tell you the truth,
He
I
came
have
with-
no idea what
He came with
Lightfoot's
this like
job was.
double-handed accessory that had a big
It
radar
looked,
thing.
it looked like one of those like control sticks from Tron.
Oh, it was probably the control for his drone,
Maybe, but it was garbage.
which
He couldn't hold on
featured
to
a
it.
lenticular sticker. Why did they put those on one good figure and like many crappy ones?
It
I
was
don't know.
just I had even nowadays. You could be right. I still don't know what his job is. I don't know what he does.
I think he's a bomb disposal.
He had
guy.
a cool ass helmet, but other than that, I don't know. He was no good.
No,
I did
he's
not like him.
Crappy
And
figure.
then his brother made my list. Scoop.
Well, that's his brother.
I call him his brother because they're both equally as lame. These 3 dudes are like the only, like the guys left in the mess hall when everybody else is called out. No, you stay behind and guard the
God.
headquarters.
So-
We'll go do the real work.
Scoop is this guy that comes with a camera.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
it. Seriously, what's he there to
And a big whatever that thing on the back of his backpack is.
like a big radar dish because he was going to broadcast this out so that like Vietnam wasn't bad enough seeing footage of that crap happening. You got to have a
I don't
field reporter. Did he talk like Geraldo Rivera or
know.
anything?
I don't know.
John Stossel gets slapped in the face by somebody who's your physical superior because you're mouthing off.
It's just a horrible figure too. Like the face and his hair was like all wavy
Yeah,
and
let's
his,
put that helmet back on.
yeah, and then his I don't. It was a horrible figure. I
Well,
didn't.
Is he the scoop or the thing that you put in the scoop?
It's the thing that you put in the scoop.
Yeah, the
No
bad
good.
figure. Yeah.
And then for my last one, for my bottom 5, I could not determine which one was worst out of all of them, so I just tied them all together and put Battle Force 2000 the entire line because they were all no
There was
good.
at least a couple of somewhat redeeming designs, but man, I get it. They can't all be winners.
I couldn't pick the worst from that one, so I went, oh hell, you're all in there.
Cool idea of modular vehicles that hook together,
but they didn't even hook together very well.
no, it's just like this. What did it do? Was it like a barge? Just like sits there.
I don't know what it did.
The rattlers fly over and pepper it with Gatling gunfire and just shred
Did it
everybody
move? Did
on
it fly? Was it bulletproof? I don't know what the hell it was.
Okay, that's good. That's all of Battle Force.
All
2000.
of Battle Force 2000.
I'm actually going to. I have a few like that in this list. So we got your top. Now here's my worst 5. Zartan version 2. The orange weird mohawk and the stupid bow and arrow and just a dumb looking figure, a crap, unnecessary, ugly looking redo. I mean, they had some updates that were kind of neat, like when you had that Duke update post Tiger Force, and you had the desert camo. I don't know why they picked red and tan, but it was kind of an interesting.
It worked.
take,
It
right?
worked. I still kind of like that figure.
There was that one, and then there was one with the helmet molded on, which is more like a Desert Storm kind of a get-up. So Zartan version 2's crap. And then they made him a ninja and got him involved in that, and he should just be like this
Like
disguised
Firefly.
guy.
Like
yeah,
Firefly,
yeah.
just separate from everything else.
Ice Cream Soldier, because it's a stupid name and it is an ugly neon abomination abortion of a figure.
The
Horrible
90s
figure.
were fun for Neon, weren't they?
Number 3.
Raptor!
Yeah, you're done. We've just discussed in depth as to why that's a horrible figure. Number 4 for me, Psych Out.
Psych out.
What do you do?
What is
And
your
number
job?
5, here's one that's going to be really controversial, I guarantee it. Some of you guys are watching this, and you're going to tell me I'm wrong. You can do it in the comments. Range Viper. I
Oh, really?
hate the design for Range Viper. That ugly blue.
Is that the one?
Range Viper!
Is that the one with the 2 weird, shot things off of his back? Like his backpack would have these weird looking.
He's got an exposed brain.
Oh hell no!
And these like
No,
red
no.
eyes, and it's
Okay,
just,
no, it's not the guy I was thinking of.
it's
But
like
geez,
the
no, I know which
oddest
one you're
figure.
talking about. Now.
And it has he has like gold accents. or yellow accents, and I don't get it. I don't get the teeth showing. I don't get the molded brain. And he's like one of these sought after figures that people want. And
Well,
I mean, like,
to complete the series, I can understand
ugh.
if there weren't so many of them, or people would toss them like we would back in the day. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the reason why they're.
I mean, he was highlighted on the G.I. Joe Deke cartoon. For some reason, that character got episodes or was involved and had dialogue. But it's just it's a dumb figure. I mean, it's dumber than a painting a mustache on a viper troop that climbs on the side of a hill. Rock Viper. I mean, it's
At least
just
the Rock Viper looked kind of.
He's okay. He had like a really big badass machine gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Range Viper, I never understood. I think it's one of the worst Joes that's been put out design-wise. It just makes no sense to me.
I'll agree with you on that. That was no bueno. I don't
Okay.
like him. No good. No good. All right, that rounds out Joe. So if you agree with our top five, or you
maybe
agree with
maybe
our worst,
maybe we only got time for a couple more of these in there.
well, all right. Which one do you want to do? Transformers or Masters?
Let's do Transformers.
Okay, Transformers. All right, my best five. The big guy has to take the number one spot. Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, hands down, one of the best Transformers from any generation, any line, anything. Optimus Prime is the man. He transforms it from a truck into a giant robot. His trailer is a base. Comes completely cool with a rover and all these other
Specific version, G1.
G1.
Okay.
G1 Optimus Prime. I love him. And like I said, all of these are from that
Okay.
vintage kind of era. So yeah, Optimus Prime, he takes my number one spot.
Okay.
He has to. I mean, I don't think you can talk about Transformers and not picture Optimus Prime. He's got the guy that comes to everybody's head. So for that reason alone, I mean, everybody loves him. He's in my top
Great
five.
design. I mean, colors were great.
Yeah.
Features were great, and I mean, every kid just liked driving that truck and trailer around, and you
Oh,
could put
yes.
Autobots in the trailer.
Yep.
So a great.
Yeah, there
toy,
was
great toy.
nothing. I can't think of anything wrong except for his hands, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, you can forgive the detachable hands and the mechanism which kept his feet out.
Oh, right.
Those, it was like this toothy kind of a step up, kind of a gear
Yeah.
thing, and it wore out over time, so the legs would constantly flip back. But
Those
just
are
an
forgivable.
awesome
Yeah,
toy. It was
absolutely.
designed in the '70s, so
Yeah.
it was a great toy.
Well, and the fact that we can still look at that and go, "Damn, that's so cool." I mean, that's a testament to his
I got
engineering.
many of them I look at. Yeah.
So yeah, Optimus Prime number one.
Okay.
Number two is an obvious one. Should be an obvious one for me. Soundwave.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Always loved
Same
that.
reasons.
Yeah. Soundwave turned into a little radio, and I loved taking him with me whenever I would go anywhere. He
And,
would always be in my backpack with his little buddy Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
And
You know, stored in the figure.
Stored
so
in the
you got
figure.
your main figure and,
and
you
his
got the
weapons
cassette
stored
tape.
inside the
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
too.
that's cool too.
That's
yeah.
the only thing that really
The
didn't
batteries.
store in that was the little silver tips that would go on his batteries, right? And those would get lost like gone.
Instantly. Yeah.
But oh man, Soundwave was just a beautiful figure for the same reasons Optimus Prime is. I mean, just engineered well and just looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, Hound. He's a military Jeep, green, fit right in with my GI Joes. I liked Hound, and Steve could disagree, and that's cool. But Hound, for a lot of reasons, for me, is cool. I mean, he fits that ruggedness. He fit that tough male bravado that I liked a lot during the '80s. It was just a really cool figure, and he transformed into a really cool vehicle. A Jeep with a freaking 50 cal mounted on the back of it was
Yeah.
awesome.
I will not debate that part. The vehicle mode, especially on the original toy, was fantastic.
Yep.
The arms kill me.
Yeah, no, he's
The
got
little,
he's,
Hey, I'm hitting it again, but I can't put it forward.
he's got some gimpy arms.
Like
But-
cool, yes, very cool figure.
But
yeah.
I
Cool,
I
thing,
did
like
like
over
him.
the shoulder array
Yeah.
that he had. It was a very, very cool. Overall, cool. You can forgive the faults of it, especially
so.
being at a G1.
Next one, Sunstreaker. I loved Sunstreaker.
Interesting choice.
His look, I loved the bright yellow. His transformation was rather simple and
Mhm.
easy to do. So as a kid, that was one thing that I really liked. That's why Soundwave and Optimus Prime are other ones, because they're relatively simple to transform.
Well, all of those G1s, it was you make the sound, and that's enough time to
To
turn it
transform
into a
them,
car
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
And a Lamborghini. What's not to cool about what's not to like about a Lamborghini?
Diablo.
Right? Yeah, and in the
Mm.
'80s, that was the
Yeah.
number one car every kid liked.
Oh
right?
man,
So,
still for me this day.
Yeah.
Favorite car.
So have a bright yellow Lamborghini transform into a really kick-ass transformer with shooting fists at one point. I think the first one, I think there's a version without shooting fists and there's a version with.
I think they
Um,
nerfed the springs.
Did they?
Yeah, that was it. So you'd push them in, and if they even fired, they would just
Bunch
fall
out.
right out of the end.
But
yeah.
I still loved him as a figure. I think he was really cool. The only thing I didn't like for the character or for the figure itself was that you couldn't move his legs separately, independently. They were kind of stuck. In
Yeah, he's sort of a brick.
Yeah.
But you could. His arms would come up enough. It was like Hot Rod, right?
Yeah.
That kind of same type
And
of
they're kind of like
articulation.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still cool. I liked him, and always one of the ones I was seeking when I was a kid.
Mhm.
So, all right, my last one, Reflector.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a
Reflector.
good choice. Good
I
choice.
liked it because you had 3 little bots that would transform and combine into one to make a camera. And I always liked the Decepticon transformations a little bit better than the Autobots because they were things that looked like I could use in their alt mode. So I can use a camera, I can use a tape recorder, I can use a watch, which Chronoform almost made my list, but I had to be
Use
picky.
a gun.
Yeah.
Well, you could play with a toy gun. Yeah.
But I just loved that aspect of it. So the fact that you could have 3 little guys combine and
Mhm.
make another camera was just really cool. Really, really
Yeah,
cool.
I won't take it away from you. I think that's a great figure.
Yeah.
Interesting
Figures.
that they only took that one character and made him reflect doors or whatever
Yeah.
in the cartoon.
Yep.
Uh,
Looked like they kind of combined 2 of them, like the colors of the main guy
Yeah.
with the side body of the other one. But taking the cartoon out of it, just looking at the figures as they were, just a great idea. And they
plus,
were another
like,
one from the
proportionally
Diaclone
looked
line.
really good. The figures looked
They did.
really good. Yeah, it wasn't
Yep.
some like wonky thing with too big of a head or too short of legs or
No.
something.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's your 5.
That's my 5 from
Okay.
Transformers.
So on some of these, I did cross over like the entire toy line.
Okay,
I didn't
all
just stay in the moment. My number 1 Transformer of all time, Kingdom Optimus Prime, Earthrise. That
figure.
G1 version. It is the absolute ultimate retail release version of Optimus Prime that you can get for aesthetics and for articulation and scale to the other figures. Perfect.
Yep.
And that's a tough one because I love me some G1 Prime. But
Yep.
I mean that
If
figure,
if I was not sticking to G1 only, I probably would have gone the same way with
It
Kingdom
is-
Optimus Prime.
it is better than G1. And
Yeah, it is.
I am a purist and I love G1, but this Optimus Prime is better. I
It
mean
is.
it is.
His articulation is better.
Yep.
His transformation is better. His
The look
clean-
is right out of the cartoon, so
Exactly.
I mean it's just a great figure and the best. My favorite figure so far of all of the Transformers, like mainline type retail releases. I've got third party stuff that is out of this world.
Well, yeah, and some masterpieces are really good too, right? But
Yeah.
when you're talking ones you can just walk in, buy off the shelf, and take it
Mhm.
home, the best.
I had a tie for number 2 because it was too hard for me to pick on what I thought was like synonymous with the brand. G1 Optimus Prime and G1 Soundwave.
Okay.
Same reasons that they were on your list. They're terrific. I mean they're just instantly recognizable, and you know exactly who this was and the voices and everything. I mean it's like instantly back to childhood when you see those toys. So
I love them.
kind of a tie for number. I have them like 2 and 3. I don't know which is 2 and which is 3.
Okay.
They're great figures. Fortress Maximus,
Mm-hmm.
the absolute most ambitious Transformer released in the 80s, 2 feet tall, multiple modes.
Mhm.
Headmaster was a headmaster, so the head disconnected and his head disconnected.
Headmaster's Headmaster. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
they're like
cool, yeah.
great figure, enormous, turned into a play set for other Transformers to be on, and I mean he's just like, and it's one of those things. It's like on everybody's wish list, a G1 Fort Max,
Sure.
and you're $500 to get a reissue version, and you're now $1,000 to get the original. So I mean that just blows me away, the design of the character for the time, and I don't have one. I have the Titans Returns Fortress Maximus,
Which is
but
not a bad
it's
one.
great. It is superior to the old version.
Yeah.
But that old one is just, it's special. You know,
Yeah.
it's like one of those must-have characters from the line, which I don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last place, another combined one, All of the Kingdom, G1 characters.
All
All of them.
all of them?
All of the G1s, Jazz, Sideswipe, Sunstreaker. I mean, they're so good.
From the War for
original
Cybertron?
G1 cars, yeah, like this last trilogy that we had,
Mhm.
whether it's the Cybertronian or the Earthrise versions, all of them are great.
Yeah.
The Ironhide is great. The Ratchet is great. The God, we finally got good versions of Grapple and Inferno, and we got Trax and
Yeah.
Hoist and all of these great characters, and they're just perfect to G1.
They are.
I cannot pick one of those because they are all just terrific.
Well, I have to say that before I had just gotten into Transformers recently compared to what my whole collection was. I did not have a lot of Transformers because I was focusing on G.I. Joe and other things, and Transformers always kind of seemed a little bit out of reach for me.
Well, yeah,
But-
G1 is one of the first ones that really started just climbing astronomically and hard to complete. And
But I will have to say, man, when this War for Cybertron series hit and these guys started coming out, I couldn't pass them up. I mean, they were the ones that got me back
man,
into
they are so
Transformers.
good. And even the updates like Megatron and
Yeah.
Shockwave,
Mm.
insane. They are so
Such
good.
beautiful figures, and I love every single one of them. And their box art is fantastic. Their packaging was awesome. You know, the side card art with action poses, and then, I mean, they were big. And oh my gosh, like Soundwave was a great update to the G1 Soundwave.
Oh yeah,
Even though he couldn't turn into the robot mode, he turned into a ship mode. But the robot mode, oh my gosh, is
yeah. I mean,
gorgeous.
they just scream G1. I
It
mean,
did.
like walking right off of that screen
Mm.
onto your table. And
Yeah.
there are some complaints, like some of the hollowness. You know,
Yeah,
a few of the joints on the feet and stuff are a little bit wacky, but I mean, come on.
Overall,
man.
that's one of the best lines
Yeah,
so far.
I can't pick one that's the best. They're all fantastic.
No, that's good. That's a good one because they all were just phenomenal updates to the old figures that the old figures and characters that we love.
If you're not buying any G1 and you still need a little taste of Transformers and what made it special, buy these figures. Get them when they come out. Pay the $20 for the deluxe scale figures and the $30 for the Voyager.
Yep. Some of them are still affordable. You can go back to the Siege line and to the Earthrise line, and some of them are still pretty affordable. They're still out there. They're hanging out around probably about $30, give or take $5 or so. Except for the really hard to find ones like Ratchet and Ironhide and some of the other ones. But for most, you should still be able to get out there and build up a pretty good collection. So,
Yeah, and I kind of include the Studio Series releases in from
Yeah.
Transformers the movie because they're in that same vein, you know, articulation and pricing level.
Yep.
It's just you can't beat them.
Yeah, it would be a hard one to choose. All right, we'll let that one slide. You can have all of them.
I'll take them all. I can't just pick one, obviously.
All right, we're going to go to worst 5, though.
Okay, yes.
Here we go. Worst 5. Top of my list for worst 5 for Transformers. Huffer. His arms. I couldn't get past his
Pretty
arms.
bad.
It just-
G1 Huffer. They're way up here. Yeah, they're bent way up.
What are the, like, 2 little fingers?
They had that odd little thing on the ends, and they were just
And
yes.
that's
They are,
was a horrible
they are
figure.
proportioned. He's proportioned extremely weird. And
Yeah.
I mean, I could say Brawn.
I like the character, but his figure was just...
Yeah, they had a lot of work getting that one into the cartoon to look reasonable.
It did
Yeah.
not look good. Oh, man. All right, number 2. Cup. The original,
Really? You don't like the original Cup?
Not the G1 Cup, no. I
It's
don't
too
like him.
washed out, too minty looking.
No, I just didn't like him. I didn't actually, so I should tell you the truth. The character's not really my favorite either.
Oh, okay.
Because, as I saw it from my standpoint, you iced Ironhide to replace me with another veteran. You took away one of my favorite characters and gave me this?
This
The
guy
mentor to
always
the guy
had
that I didn't even see before the movie?
War stories.
Yeah, Ironhide was my war story guy. Come on,
Yeah.
he was my veteran. And you got rid of him in the beginning of the movie and gave me Ironhide version 2?
I mean, like, it's arguable whether, Space Camino or,
I don't know what he was.
Molester Van that Ironhide turned into.
I don't know what it was. It was just not very good. But I do have to say that, or later versions of his character, especially in the studio series and stuff like that, really kicked it up a
Yeah,
notch. And he
yeah,
does
they-
look good. He looks like his cartoon character and stuff like that.
I get it. I respect that. That was actually weird. He had a giant head and little tiny
Yeah,
arms,
God.
like skinny little arms.
Yeah, not a good
That's
figure.
when the American Hasbro started getting involved in
Yeah.
the design of the figures, and they weren't like straight out Diaclone Takara reissues.
Yeah, and I kind of started liking his figure a little bit more, or his character a little bit more in the series cartoon that came afterward. Again, he filled that Ironhide role, right?
Uh-huh.
But as a you know, from the movie and first time I saw him, and as an action figure,
No, it wasn't on my Christmas list.
No.
I didn't get him for Christmas, and I was thankful. But got
Yeah.
Target Master
Didn't
Cup,
want 'em.
one of the hard ones to get, and I just broke it or something.
all right, jump starters, both of them. For that reason, they were lame. They were just lame. Pull back, pop. There you go. Transform. Oh, I don't even have to transform him. I just pull back and he
Well-
pops up into a robot. I guess, except
They had-
the robots are fucking lame.
Kind of cool
They
vehicles.
were
I thought the
freaking lame.
robot modes looked cool. They had big old like back metal guns.
Their
and
legs couldn't move separately. They had huge feet.
They had articulation in the shoulders.
No,
That was
they were
good
no
for
good.
G1. Okay, you can have jump starters.
Jump starters were garbage.
Both of them. Yeah.
Garbage. Okay, next one. Broadside. Do you remember this character?
Oh, turd. Just a plastic brick that like.
Broadside.
I mean,
horrible.
He turned into a jet and an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I know. That's the one that gets me. That's what he gets me. He turns into a jet. All right. Wait, what? He turns into an aircraft carrier? Talk about mass displacement. Holy. What the fudge? He went from a. No. Even as a kid, I went.
That toy was just such a horrible brick of crap. Oh my
No
god! You
good.
might as well have just like had the figure on one side and then put him down on his face, and that was the aircraft carrier on the back. What a crap figure!
Oh, horrible. And he just looked.
Oh,
No, it was. I don't know what they were
stupid
thinking.
engineering.
I mean, there's so many other ones that could have made my worst five, like the Pretenders or things like this. But when I look at Broadside as a jet to aircraft carrier, no, sorry, you're on the
why
crap
would
list.
he do that? Why would he turn into a jet and an aircraft
I'm
carrier?
gonna land
Aircraft
on
carrier
myself.
carries jets.
I don't know, man.
Go land yourself.
He was no good. That guy's benched. He's out of
Oh,
here. No,
God.
we don't need you, Broadside.
It
Go
was
away.
crap, guys. Look up the figure if you haven't seen it. Like he doesn't even have a it almost looks like the figure's just a brick of
Yep.
red plastic.
Mhm.
You can hardly see anything line of delineation between the legs.
No fun in this
He just
figure.
has these feet that flip up and arms that come out.
Yep.
And like a robot axe or something he came with. Just a turd of a figure.
Yes.
And
a
you think
stinker.
Megatron's turning into a gun for another Transformer is bad. This guy's an aircraft carrier that then turns into the jet that could land on the aircraft carrier.
No
So,
good.
okay.
No good figure. I did not like him. He almost made the bottom of my bottom.
But
the
like,
one-
like the bottom slots like 3, 4, and 5, all for one.
All
He's
for
so
one
bad.
guy.
Yeah.
No. The very bottom of this has a very distinction. Wheelie.
Ooh. Oh God.
The worst
Oh.
character, the worst Transformer, the worst everything falls squarely on this character's shoulder. And as a toy, as a character,
Man. Well,
no. Horrible.
he's like the one mini bot that I haven't collected on my updated G1 collection. There's been some good versions of Wheelie come out, but he's such a dumb character. I don't want him as.
I don't want
And-
him. I
and
don't
he's-
even acknowledge him.
He's voiced by the guy that does Megatron. That's Frank Welker doing Wheelie and Megatron.
Well, it was a crap character. It was crap. It was all crap.
He was like Roadblock without the awesome. He talked in rhymes, but he was this little gimp with a slingshot. Yeah.
I mean,
Horrible
what did
character.
they recently repackaged him with Grimlock. Like, we can't sell this character on his own, so we got to pack him with a bigger, much cooler
Charge
robot.
10 more for Grimlock because they'll pay for that and get these damn wheelies out of here.
No good. His
Yeah,
character.
the studio series. Yeah, he came with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
That's
he's
my
a
bottom
dog turd.
5.
Okay, bottom 5 for me. Perhaps even worse
Oh, no.
than some of yours. Sparkabots.
Oh,
They
that
had
weird.
this flint thing, and you would activate it, and they would spit sparks out of their mouth or something. The transformations were next to nothing. They were just horrible, misproportional bricks of plastic. Again, thank you, American Hasbro engineers, for that. It was all gimmick and no anything else. I mean,
Nothing
you
else.
could get one of those, you open it up on your birthday, and immediately push it to the side and be thankful for the socks or whatever that you got. This is horrible crap toys.
I have
Throttlebot.
one and I don't like him.
Okay, Throttlebots. Even worse than the jump starters, because these guys have pullback action. And, I mean, you have to flip up their bodies, but their arms just sit there.
Yeah, I know.
They don't even move. It's like
Nope.
Flywheels and Battletrap. The only reason they didn't make the list was because they at least combined two of these crap vehicles into a crap robot. Throttlebots were just like all crap, top to bottom.
Yeah, no good. No
All Throttlebots, not even like one.
good. Well, that's why both jump starters. I
Yeah.
couldn't pick one. Both of
So
them.
you think you got it bad with the jump starters? At least they can shoot a gun and aim forward. The Throttlebots were just like, let's go.
Put my gun mount on my.
They didn't even go on their shoulders.
Yeah, they did. One of them had a gun that stuck to
No,
his shoulder.
that was those two Decepticons, the white car and the black car that had the guns that stick on
Oh,
there.
okay, okay.
I don't remember what their names are. Runabout and Runamuck or
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember the subline, but those were junk.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
precursors, and then they pushed the Throttlebots on us, and the only way they could sell them is putting orange decoys of cooler characters, the little rubber guys in with them. They're like,
That's right.
hey, it's a Throttlebot, kids. But, hey, you get a little rubber, Inferno or Ironhide or Optimus Prime with it.
Yay.
I know, like, shit.
It couldn't be better than that. All right. What do
Can
we
I
got?
please have a savings bond? Something that doesn't transform. I'll never see it. I'll put it in the bank.
Give me a pocket watch or something. I don't
Jesus,
know.
can I go clean the dog crap out of the yard? Because that's more fun than playing with the toy. Okay, so Throttlebots, all Beast Wars. All Beast Wars.
Wow,
I'm
you're-
sorry, guys. I think Optimal Optimus is an okay toy. I liked a few of the characters from Beast Wars, but they're junk. They're just jumbled mishmashes of ball joints and over-engineering. There was no play value for a child with Beast Wars, and I didn't find the characters particularly inspiring, and
Yeah.
all of them had heads and beaks for hands and tails, and just half of them, they were so back-heavy with kibble, you try and stand it up, and they just fall over.
Yeah.
So, all Beast Wars figures. I'm sorry for the people that love them and that it made a difference in your life. Collect them, that's fine.
It's all good.
But guess what's warming the pegs at Walmart? It ain't the G1 reissues, it's the Beast Wars right now. So, yeah, all Beast Wars. Energon Optimus Prime.
I can't picture it.
Transformers Energon, he had these 4 drones, and he was this tubby-looking sumo prime, and the drones hooked up Voltron style to make arms and legs.
Okay.
Jesus.
I don't remember
I
this.
got
I'm glad I
dude,
don't remember
this is
this.
like Old Country Buffet Optimus Prime. The figure, like, I love the colors. It's got these dark blues and whites and red
Sure.
highlights, and it looks great, but there's no way to put lipstick on that pig. It's this dumpy, like, pear-shaped Optimus Prime with chicken legs.
Oh jeez. Oh
And-
jeez.
The whole gimmick was that, it kind of folds in and you put there was like a drill drone and a helicopter drone and a car, and it was just color-coded like Voltron. And you transformed him into a giant, even dumber-looking robot, like his chest opens up. And
I
dude,
can't
they made
picture
a
playing
whole
with
like 30 episodes or whatever it was, 38 or 40, and you had to watch Optimus Prime waddle around, and you had to hear Gary Chalk trying to do Optimus Primal's voice. Junk figure. Like, I bought that Optimus Prime knowing I regretted it before I even took it to the register. Opened it up, regretted it upon opening it. Tried to do some repainting and some black slimming areas to sort of like make him look Optimus Prime-y, because there was kind of a Prime drought. But it is a junk figure. It's just awful.
I'll take your word for it. I can't picture him, so
I
I'm
got
glad
one on
I
my
can't.
shelf. I'll show it to you, and when you
Right
see
on.
it, you're gonna like puke in your mouth. It's such a bad transformer. And then, last but not least, on my worst, all movie toys. For the
Bay
same,
movies?
yep, for the same reasons. They looked like insect skeletons that put pieces of Transformers on. They were way over engineered, and the simple ones looked like complete garbage.
Yeah.
There was nothing interesting about the characters whatsoever that made any other character stand out against the rest.
Megatron didn't even have a big gun.
No, Optimus Prime looked silly and ridiculous, and it took you 15 minutes to transform the deluxe figures into whatever they were supposed to go to, and you might as well just take the ball joints apart, fold them up, and then put them back together.
That's what I did on a few of the ones the kids had.
Like the initial run, I bought the initial movie Prime because it was still boxy and squared off looking. They hadn't figured out how to make it look like an insect wearing Optimus Prime's clothes.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, they're just bad figures. So
Bayformers are no good.
thank you for being out there because good stuff came along with it. But man, they're just turd figures, and I'm proud to say that I have very few, and they're just Optimus Primes that I put into my collection. But yeah, all movies. So that's it for Transformers for me.
All right, so but how about we just do a quick rundown? We'll just name it. We won't give any backstory or anything. We'll just list our next ones. So I'll go for Masters of the Universe, best 5, worst 5.
Sure.
Best 5: He-Man, Skeletor, Trapjaw, Webstor, Man-at-Arms. Those are my top 5.
Okay. Respectable, and these are all the original versions.
Yep. MOT worst 5. Here we go. Too Bad, Mantenna, Cyclone, Gwildor,
Give it the cosmic key.
King Hiss.
Really, King
I
Hiss,
couldn't
huh?
stand King Hiss.
Okay.
Those are my boss. That's my MOTU. Okay, go.
Okay, Masters of the Universe, my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Origins He-Man retail release B-head. The
Okay.
classic head. Everything great about the original Masters with enhanced articulation.
Cool.
Number 2, Jitsu.
Okay.
Love the design, the colors, the gold
The
back metal,
and
and
cool hand.
the sword, even though he was a horribly racist-looking caricature.
His armor was cool.
Yeah, very cool figure, top to bottom, gold highlights, black boots.
Yep.
Original Skeletor.
Yep.
I mean, that figure is just
That's
iconic looking. Yeah, and he came with extra gear and just creepy and the ram's head thing.
Yep.
Zodak.
Yeah, so that's
That
a good
is
one.
that's just meat and potatoes, a gun and a vest, but cool colors. And
Yeah.
I really liked it. I was just obsessed with that character.
Yep.
And my bottom my bottom of the list for best, I love 2000X He-Man.
Oh yeah, sure.
The
Yeah,
redesign for He-Man with the sort of mullet instead of the page boy, and I did not like the sword, but everything
was
else
kind of
I
overclunky.
really liked the redesign on He-Man.
good.
Bottom 5, Twistoid and Rotor. You suck. You are the worst. We're toys that spin. And then what do? I mean, how do they get around? They just lay on their side until
That's
like
why I
He-Man
didn't like
picks them up?
Cyclone.
Dude, but at least Cyclone can put his hands forward. I
Oh,
mean, he
God,
could
he was
do
a
things.
horrible-
He had legs.
His face looked like He-Man. Like they didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like they took He-Man's head, painted it blue, stuck it on the spinning guy, and that was it.
The Stone Men.
Oh,
Both of
cool.
you, Stondar and Rock On. Okay, guys, what do you do?
We're Transformers. Oh, cool. What do you do? Well, we transform into rocks.
We rock. and
Yep.
even like Cobra Khan's like, you actually don't. You're bad. Meteorbs. A bunch of damn
Yeah.
little eggs that turned into animals. Stupid concept.
Yep.
Cobra Khan, as mentioned previously. Egg warmer forever. Squirt gun did work, but ugly toy, stupid accessory. Always got killed when I played Masters.
Yeah.
of the Universe. And you know, I hate to say this, I really do, but my number 5 on my worst list, Ram Man.
He almost made my list.
I love the design of the character and what he's all about, but his piss poor articulation in the shoulders. I mean, it wasn't even this. It's this. He's got this axe and he can't even hurt somebody with it. And the axe is out of scale. It didn't even fit other characters. It was
No.
this weird little
Peg.
So, I mean, like, there's a guy I saw that collected Ram Mans and he had like hundreds of them.
Poor
Because
guy.
they're so cheap. But,
No good.
I
No
love the
good.
design. The execution is piss poor.
No.
Okay, so you got some Star Wars?
I do. Okay, all right. Those were good. All right, top 5 Star Wars.
Yep.
Bespin Luke, number 1, best action figure from Star Wars, top to bottom, my favorite.
Yeah.
Always will be.
I see why you like it. It's a great figure.
Yeah. And in that same vein, Bespin Han, with his blue
Yep.
long sleeve coat. That's Han Solo
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah,
Well, you know, that's
Han
what
Solo
it'll
at
be.
his absolute best was
Yep.
Bespin.
Absolutely.
When he did the most, and when you realize just how badass of a character Han Solo was.
Exactly.
You appreciated him for his cleverness and ingenuity. So, yep.
Yep. The classic Stormtrooper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very classic, very iconic, very simple, but man, I loved playing with those guys. Forlom. I liked Forlom. I liked him a lot. The idea that the droid can have that big ass gun and can shoot people and not just be, I know 6 million forms of communication.
I am a pencil. My hands cannot grip this gun.
I still liked him. I liked Forlom.
IGA.
He was gray. He wasn't, he had bug eyes. I mean, he was an interesting character.
Yeah. One of the lesser silly-looking bounty hunters. Yeah.
I liked him. There was something about him, and I always paired him up with Twiggy from Buck Rogers, and I don't know why. That's just what I did when I was a kid. I liked him. Hey, man.
Robot trafficker.
And then Darth Vader, of course.
Yeah.
Classic Darth Vader. Even with the vinyl cape and the telescoping hand, he still was
Cool, and he was bigger than the other figures.
Yeah, him and Chewbacca. But man, he was still King Batty, in my toy collection. So.
What do you got for worst?
Okay, worst 5. All the Ewoks. Every last one of them.
They had like web gear and stuff.
No!
It was,
All the
okay.
Ewoks.
Okay. All the Ewoks.
88. Jabba's little white guard, little robot that he had is, I don't know what he was.
The torture guy?
Yeah.
You are
So-
a protocol droid, are you not?
No, that was 99.
Oh, okay.
88 was the little guy who pulled the lever. And,
Oh.
So here's his action figure. His right arm is stuck in the Heil Hitler thing.
Oh, no.
Yes, and his other arm is gimpy, stuck, and can only do this.
Oh, boy. That's a little Pee Wee Herman action going on there.
That is
Yeah.
it. That
Okay.
figure is horrible. His legs even pop off. Who cares? He was not a good figure. Did not like him.
I forgot about that droid that had all the white things that stuck out on the side of it.
FX7.
Yeah.
FX7 medical droid.
That was pretty stupid. But
Yeah, the 88 just beat him out.
88.
So
Yeah, okay.
yeah. All right, and here's one I thought was kind of no good. You may agree with me or not. Bespin Guard. I did not like them.
Very mundane.
I did not like their hats. They looked like Devo. Like
You've got to freeze it. Freeze it good.
I did not like those guys.
Move forward.
No.
Carbon freeze.
They're horrible figures. Oh my god.
I thought
no.
the detailing, they had that little gold detailing on
It
there.
was not
I thought,
enough to save them. They're no good. No bueno.
Okay.
Okay, Imperial Dignitary.
Oh. Oh my
The
god.
most worthless action
Made my
figure.
list.
The worthless action
You
figure.
think a Bespin guard is bad, at least they guard something. What's the dignitary do? Like, just agree with the Emperor and
He
that's
shakes his head
whole
and
job?
walks off screen. That's it.
Yeah.
They made a figure of this guy?
That's when they knew
Barf!
Star Wars is really stretching. Yeah, okay.
Oh gosh. Okay, and my last one, and this is probably going to be the controversial one.
Okay.
Blue Snaggletooth.
Oh, yeah, just sort of a...
I think he's an overhyped figure, just because he was released wrong.
rare,
He was
yeah.
it just the figure himself is no different. I like red Snaggletooth better than blue Snaggletooth. I don't. I mean, I understand the appeal of him in the fact that he's a rare figure. I'm not going to go out of my way to try to find a blue Snaggletooth. I don't consider blue Snaggletooth as part of my completion. If anything, I'm probably going to go out and buy a
He
repro
was in,
one
like,
if I
some
really want it. And-
J.C. Penney set or something, right? That blue
Yeah.
Snaggletooth came in.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even go, exit, stage left.
No, not even.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he made my worst 5 because
Yeah,
it just
I know how you feel. There's some rarities that people are into, and
yeah.
like how is this so awesome? Like at least Wonder Bread He-Man's plain and awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
but blue Snaggletooth, really?
gotcha.
That-
Yeah. Okay.
All right, what's your top 5?
Number 1 favorite Star Wars figure of all time, original series Jedi Luke.
Ah,
I liked his tunic. I liked that he came with the gun, the corrected lightsaber, and when I'm a kid watching Star Wars, when you grow up, you love Han Solo because he didn't have the advantage of the Force. You know, he was just a cool, clever, great character. But Luke Skywalker is like the superhero on the hero's journey.
Yep.
And I just thought that is my absolute favorite version of the figure. Just cool accessories, and you lose the gun instantly.
Yeah, that little skinny gun.
So number 2 for me, Bespin Han Solo Black Series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a great update. It's got a great sculpt, and they started painting the faces.
Mhm.
So it picked up a lot of the detail. When they use that translucent flesh-colored plastic, you lose a lot of that. So that Bespin Han Solo, I love Han Solo, and I think that's probably one of the best that they've ever done. Iconic look. Gun goes in the holster. I mean, it's just a great figure. I don't have one. My wife does. I bought it for her. Yeah.
I would agree with you. If I was branching out from the vintage stuff that I was solely focusing on, I would agree with you. You'd make that list.
Power of the Force Darth Vader. The one with the removable helmet.
Yeah.
And the removable hand.
Yeah.
When that figure came out, and that was a really good... the helmet was not like oversized. It was the right size for the sculpt. It had translucent eyes.
Yep. It was great.
Yeah.
And he was also correctly garbed. He had his removable cape, and he had his waist cape, and he had the right colors from Empire Strikes Back, and he was proportioned all right. He didn't look weird or big-chested or whatever the version one was.
The 90s versions.
So,
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
So yeah, that's a good Vader figure. Yeah, I like him. Good choice.
Aren't you a little swole for a stormtrooper? It's the bump.
It's the Force. It
It's
keeps
the
up my
force of
muscles.
effects. Okay, so I got that Darth Vader with the removable helmet.
Good one.
It's not a figure, but I chose Millennium Falcon.
Okay.
It's not a figure.
okay.
I think it's one of the best things that the line has to offer.
It's classic.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something about it. Every kid had one at some point, probably. Playset, spaceship, big. I mean, it just... I spent hours with the landing gear flying the Millennium Falcon around.
Heck yeah.
That was...
That's one of its coolest functions. I mean, it was big, it was bulky, right? So to have that thing that you could hold on to and fly around, great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so... I think Luke Bespin Fatigues would come in at number 5 for me because it was a really good figure for the time.
Yeah.
Very plain. Not a lot of paint apps, but, just a very good figure. He was iconic in the movie. I mean, it's extremely recognizable from arguably the best of the Star Wars movies, so...
Yeah. I mean, and he looked like you could go out in your backyard and play with this guy and have an adventure, and he would fit any setting.
Yeah. I kind of struggle because I really like Black Series Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon's one of my favorite Star Wars characters, one of the only good things to come out of that prequel trilogy, but bottom 5.
All right.
Power of the Force 2 Leia.
Monkey
The
face
90s
Leia.
monkey face Leia. Yep. It's like they didn't even try.
She stands like...
That figure is so weird, and the face just like nobody looks at that and doesn't see a monkey face.
No, I know. That's what everybody calls it.
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, just absolutely completely horrible.
No, good figure.
Number 2, all of the other Power of the Force figures.
You just went all of them.
I mean, we bought them.
Yeah, I have them. I have a whole drawer full of them.
But
And I
you're
still
like-
kind of like them, but
I am Han Solo.
Swallow.
I'm Luke Han Swallow. I'm Luke Skywalker.
okay, you can put. There were some good figures I liked.
Like Boba Fett was an okay
It
figure.
was good. I actually liked
Even the stormtroopers were rocked out under the. They had
They
these
were.
big V's on their backs.
I liked the third version of the Bespin Luke that came in that series. He was more slimmed down. He looked more like Luke Skywalker. When they redid the face,
Yeah, it did kind of take. What was it, like late 90s when we started seeing a shift and they were sort of getting away from that initial Han Swallow. That's such a great name. But that's why it lands number 2 for me.
yeah, I got it.
Number 3, Darth Maul. All of them. The stupidest bad guy character Star Wars has ever created, and you guys are going to bag on me. Maybe we'll get some comments.
Maybe
when
we'll get
I'm
some
talking
comments
about
on
how
that one.
stupid Darth Maul is. Over the top. Too much makeup, stupid looking horns, yellow teeth, yellow eyes, a bunch of stupid flips that didn't need to be done. He was almost comical when he should have been menacing. So I don't like Darth Maul as a character design, and I think his toys are all stupid, but everybody's got one, and most of you think Steve's wrong, which is fine. That's fine.
I don't agree with Steve.
Darth Maul's dumb. Just stupid. I have 2 lightsabers that hook together on the bottom. Completely impractical. And he would have just, even without the horns and the stupid face paint, he could have been this menacing hooded villain, like a ninja type of a character or something. Instead, he just hopped around all over the place and flipped unnecessarily and just a dumb character. Imperial Dignitary.
No,
Yep.
garbage. The most garbage figure of
worst
all
figure
garbage
ever.
figures.
Like, no child opened that on Christmas morning and was happy about that. Like, serious. They didn't even take the figure off the card. They peeled the proof of purchase off and mailed it in for an emperor.
It's still on the card.
Yeah, it's still on the figure on the card. Somewhere there is, like, in the middle of the Mexico desert, 117 million Imperial dignitaries pushed into a landfill and covered
right next to the ET cartridges.
Worst figure ever. I mean, like, if you're a completist, right, that was the series that came with the coin.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, man, I can't.
I gotta get that. I have to get that one. Are we sure?
Yeah, I don't know if I can. Bottom worst character for me also, or worst figure, all Jar Jar Binks. Stupid character design, extremely, like, racial undertones to the mannerisms and the voice and everything.
Yeah.
It was just a bad, from start to finish.
I did
Nobody
not like
wants a Jar Jar Binks figure when you've got two badass Jedi. You've got Padme, who's this really super cool, capable female character that was a total badass in the show.
Yep.
Nobody wants a stupid comedic sidekick who steps on a gun and blows up battle droids. It's like the worst part of the movie, other than the rest of the movie.
Jar Jar was no good. The worst character.
Yeah, so like never a clock, forever a peg warmer.
Yep.
The Black Series Jar Jars just jam the pegs at Walmart.
Some people I've seen tried to, like, well, for an action figure, he's pretty well articulated and he looks good. Yeah, but he's still a crap character. You're still Jar Jar.
So what you're telling me is if they took a cast of dog shit and it was lifelike and it was like dog shit was supposed to be, that it would be cool? No, it's poop.
It's no good.
Seriously.
Yeah, I hear you. No, Jar Jar is still will never be one way.
No, awful character design and just bad toys. Period. You can't. We're gonna go on an adventure where we accidentally need to get through this adventure. Well, better call Jar Jar to roll down the hill and run into a blaster rifle and kill 50 headshots on battle droids. Yeah.
I'll agree with that. I like that.
Horrible figure. I mean, you had some great bad picks on there. I almost went Walrus Man. Because the toy's like this weird orange and blue plastic, and he looks like he swallowed a midget head first. His ass is sticking out of his mouth. Just a dumb figure. No wonder he's so pissed.
Okay, alright, real quick, 1 minute. If we had to pick the worst out of all of our worsts, Joe, Transformers,
Oh, God, that's what you're
Star
doing
Wars,
to me?
I'm going to have to pick Imperial Dignitary as the bottom figure. Even over, I should say, Jump Starters and all these other ones. He's the worst action figure of all time. There's no action with this damn action figure.
He dignitates. That's what he does. Like, he's a
Is it
politician, the
worst
action
figure of all
figure.
time?
Space politician. Great.
He's the worst figure of all time.
Oh, man. I don't know. You know what? Yeah. He's the worst.
He's got to be
And
the
I
worst.
mean, Bob the Goon from the
From
89 Batman
Batman?
movie is like the one leg shorter than the other because Toy Biz just has no quality
Didn't
control.
care.
He can't even do his action was to kick, right? You pull the leg back,
Uh-huh.
you push the button, and he kicks forward.
Nope.
He can't stand and kick. His kicking leg's longer than his short standing leg. And the guy that played him was like Conan's sidekick.
I know.
Hey, Conan.
I'm gonna swallow this gem and poop it out later. That's my superpower.
I
Anyway.
think you're right, man. I think Imperial Dignitary sucks harder than Bob the Goon.
I think he does. Yeah.
I think he sucks harder than Sparkabots.
I can't. I mean, I'm sure if I sat here and thought about it, I could probably come up with worse.
Oh, I'm out.
But
can't.
from what I'm talking about, from what we've been saying, Imperial Dignitary takes home the trophy for worst action figure ever.
I didn't know we were doing this, but it's agreed.
It's agreed.
Unanimously decided by the commission. Imperial Dignitary, you are the worst.
You're the
you
worst.
are the worst.
We don't
Screw
like
you,
you.
Dignitary.
Yeah, that's it. You're done. We don't like you. All right, that was it. That was the best. And that was the worst.
I mean, should we get into a DeLorean and go on a crusade to stop parents from buying that around Christmas time of about 85?
Oh God! If we were going to do that, we would have more that we'd have to stop other than Imperial Dignitary. We'd have to stop E.T. We'd have to stop goddamn Glowworm. We'd have to stop all these other kinds
There's
of
some
things.
of them out there.
There's this like, no, we can't. We can't.
Your kid doesn't want infaceables.
No. No
Buy
matter
them some
what,
Wheeled
no
Warriors,
matter
maybe
what
they'll
the
last
package
longer.
may say, or the commercial, they suck.
Yeah.
They suck.
All right.
All right. Well, that was a good show.
Good
That was a
segment.
good
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
Nothing gets barely better, I think.
You
than-
guys
than
got to
Five
tell
Best.
us. You got to tell us what your worst is. I got to have something. James, you got to give me something.
Yeah.
here.
Give me your worst figure. I mean, even if it's not a list of 5, give me your worst action figure ever. And if you agree with us on Imperial Dignitary, we
Share the hate.
We'll share. Yeah, we'll share the hate.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, I
I think
guess
that's
that's
it.
it for us, man. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. See you in the toy aisles.